Hello ladies and gentlemen, today is a video by me. So today we are looking at some conventions rules. So we're looking at the last essential question of our Learning Target Essential Question Packet. We're going to look at a bunch of different learning targets related to pronouns. So the first area we're going to look at is conventions learning target number 7, pronoun antecedent agreement. Now, in regards to pronouns and antecedents, a pronoun, when we talk about pronouns, we're talking about those words that replace our nouns. Pronouns are also the words we talk about when we look at point of view in reading half a class. So pronouns in the first person is I, we, us, me. Pronouns in the second person is the pronoun you. Pronouns in third person are he, she, it, they, their. So when we talk about agreement, we're referring to the fact that a pronoun needs to agree with the noun it's replacing, the antecedent. Let's do a couple of practice examples. We're running through the definitions here of the learning targets because we've covered them in every single 9 weeks up to this point. Number 1, a hospital cares for patients as well as a hospital can. What word can we change this to make sure that this second version of the hospital, we replace it with a pronoun and it agrees in both number, in other words, singular to singular, plural to plural, and gender, as in masculine, feminine, or neutral? The correct response, it. Number 2, no matter how hard she tried, Marjorie Roberts could not find Marjorie's briefcase. So we're replacing this underlined word with a pronoun to make it sure it agrees in gender and number. What word do we need? Marjorie is single. Marjorie is female. We need her in that case. Number 3, a person who follows a person's ideals may find life difficult but rewarding. We're replacing this underlined word with a pronoun to agree. What does it need to be? Person singular, person's masculine or feminine. So you need to say his or hers, his or her ideals. Number 4, Janet, George, and Paula were surprised when Janet's, George's, and Paula's escorts did not arrive on time. Replacing the underlined word with a pronoun, needs to agree in number, needs to agree in gender. Well, what is it? Correct response, it's plural, and it's masculine and feminine. It should be their. Number 5, although it was dangerous, the 3 police officers kept order until the police officers got some reinforcements. We're replacing the underlined word with a pronoun. It needs to be what? In this case, it needs to agree with the number as in plural, and it needs to agree with the gender as in singular or masculine or feminine until they got some reinforcements. In the second pronoun rule, we're looking at conventions learning target 8-9, shifts in pronoun person or number. So this is where we make mistakes with using the proper pronoun for the antecedent. This is where we maybe accidentally shift the number. Maybe we should be using singular, but we use plural and we have to fix that pronoun. Or maybe we should have used a feminine pronoun and we accidentally used a masculine pronoun. That would be shifting in person. Shifting in number is where we accidentally shift from singular to plural. Let's do a couple of these examples. Number 1, when we asked about Anglo-Saxon literature, we discovered you could learn to speak Old English in a few months if a teacher were able to instruct you. What changes do we need to make this correct? Well, the correct area is they start with the first person plural pronoun, we, here and here. And then they've shifted into second person you, here and here. To make the correction, we need to change the second person you to first person plural. So it should have been discovered we could learn to speak Old English in a few months if a teacher were able to instruct us. In the next shift, if you eat sensibly and watch your caloric intake, most people should be able to maintain their desired weight. What's the shift issue here? Well, it starts with using second person, talking directly to the reader with you and your, and then it shifts into third person with the word people and their. Now, in this case, if we wanted to keep the second person, we needed to change this to you should be able to maintain your desired weight. However, we know a rule about academic writing. So, in other words, we don't want to use second person in our academic writing. It's not the most formal of choices. So, I would find that the best choice would be to keep this third person point of view, even though we began in second. So obviously, to get this one correct, you had to say that this was you, but a better option for this one would be to change it to if dieters eat sensibly and watch their caloric intake, then most people should be able to maintain their desired weight, because that'd be more formal. But again, we're focusing on shifts in pronoun person, and since this one is already established, the second person point of view, then that should be the correction we make, is keep it in that second person. Let's look at the third area we want to cover today, and that is looking at conventions learning target number 6, vague, unclear, and ambiguous pronouns. Now, in this area, that is where we have problems with pronouns in regards to we don't know what noun they're replacing. We don't know what the antecedent is for those pronouns. The most common pronoun that this problem happens with is the word it. But you can see it in other scenarios too. So let's look at some of the examples. Although Mike was a real sports fan, his brother never became interested in them. What word is vague, unclear, or ambiguous in this sentence? The correct answer is the word them. Here's why them does not work. There is no noun that it's replacing. Sports here, he's saying interested in sports, but the problem is sports is not a noun in this sentence. Sports is an adjective. It sounds like when you read it that he's interested in, the fans rather than the actual sports, because fan is in fact a noun, but sports is being used as an adjective to describe the fans. So there is in fact no noun that you can say is replacing this word, which is why when you make the change here, it should be his brother never became interested in sports. Let's look at the next one. The boat bumped the edge of the dock, but it didn't need many repairs. Which word is vague or unclear or ambiguous in this one? The correct answer is this word it. And here's why. What, in fact, needed the repairs? Did the boat need the repairs, or did the dock need the repairs? And you don't know. So we have to, if we're the writer of the sentence, we have to determine, well, maybe it was the boat. So, but the boat didn't need many repairs, or but the dock didn't need any repairs. And then it's not confusing anymore. It could be either one of those areas. We can't assume it's dock, and we can't assume it's the boat. And the last vague, unclear, and ambiguous pronoun is in the final sentence. Bill bought a Norwegian canoe because he had heard that they make the best canoes. Which pronoun is vague, ambiguous, or unclear in this final sentence? The correct response is the word they. And here's why. Just like in the first rule here, there is no antecedent. Norwegian is not a noun. It's describing the canoe. It's an adjective to describe the canoe, which means that we have no noun that this is referencing. So we have to use the Norwegians and so that it makes it more clear. So it should read, Bill bought a Norwegian canoe because he heard that Norwegians make the best canoes. Now, Norwegians by itself is a noun, but in this case, the word Norwegian is being used to describe the canoe, and that's why we have to change this, because it's a vague, ambiguous pronoun. So that is all the pronoun rules you're possibly going to come across in issues and mistakes in your own writing. So make sure you're watching. Make sure that your pronouns agree with their antecedent. Make sure that your pronouns are not accidentally shifting between points of view, singular to singular, plural to plural. And make sure that you're not using any vague, unclear, or ambiguous pronouns. Make sure every pronoun points back to the proper noun antecedent that it's referring to. Go ahead and get working in your writing.